modern-day workforce is no longer limited to sit behind a desk. They're on the move and need to stay connected from any corner of the globe. Apart from the laptop and the tablet, the mobile phone has also become the connectivity tool of choice and forms an integral part of everyday business. All mobile phones, however, are not created equal, and doing business in Africa online has its own set of unique challenges. Joining me in studio to talk about ICT mobility on the continent is Kgothatso Liphuko, Solutions Architect for Kgothatso. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Now, we know Africa is the fastest growing mobile market in the world with approximately 695 million phone subscribers. Now, a large portion of that is being utilized for businesses, and that comes with its own set of dynamics and challenges.
Yes.
From your perspective, what's the biggest challenge to this new mobile workforce in an African context?
Okay, many people look at the West for technology and they think that whatever the West comes out with will work in Africa. However, we all know that only 22% of the African market has got smartphones. So how do you solve that? You have to create your solutions so that they can work on Apples, Androids, Blackberries, all of them, to make sure that your solution will reach the largest market.
Now, speaking of solutions, that was my next question. We have a mix of feature and smartphones in Africa, slowly penetrating the market, but it's still it's not cost effective for everyone. From a business perspective, how do you make sure that you get the mix right and that you can support both feature and smartphones?
We've got something launched recently called Mobile IT. Part of Mobile IT gives us the ability to develop apps that not only target smartphones, but also target feature phones. So depending on the business case, it will depend whether the business is looking at tablets, whether they're smartphones or not, and then we will develop according to that and be able to deploy, just writing the application once, be able to deploy it across the different operating systems.
So it is solution-based. It's not a one-size-fits-all. You actually tailor-make it for each service.
Exactly, exactly. So you cannot just say, we're going to write this thing like this and the market has to adopt it. You have to tailor your solution to suit your clients. Now,
you're part of the mobile IT team. You're also part of Kgothatso's mobile development team.
Yes.
How important is innovation in this space?
It is very important. It is very important. It's very easy for us to look at this picture and say, there's apps that have already been developed to work on a desktop. Let's just convert them to work on a tablet. And that business case does not work because at the end of the day, you need to enable your mobile worker to be as effective as possible. And not everything that is geared towards a desktop is useful in a mobile workforce space.
Now, mobile IT is a platform that integrates all the services and the platforms. Where did the development come from? Was it homegrown? Was it within the Kgothatso family?
Okay, we've built this over the last sort of year, where we decided that in order for us to cater just for Kgothatso's services alone, we would have to write these integration services. We have to write a platform that would allow us to be flexible in how we deploy solutions. So the mobile workforce at Kgothatso, for example, is already working with one of the solutions that we provided called Resolve IT.
Now, you're testing it in-house. You have plans to roll it out to corporates.
Yes.
How is the process going? Are you still sorting some bugs out?
Well, I'm actually very happy with the app, to be honest. So we basically testing the complete suite as a product for the market. So some of the components need to be tweaked because customers buy software and always customize it to suit their business. And now you can't just come in with a product and just force it onto them and it will just work. So you have to do a bit of customization. You have to make some concessions here and there. But I mean, the product is almost there.
All right, but because every business differs. Now, let's take a look at international solutions and apps and platforms. They're everywhere. You just mentioned the Apple suite and the BlackBerry suite and Android. But what's the importance of developing homegrown apps and IP for the African market?
The international market is a very large market. There's a lot of different apps by different providers. Then they're very established. The problem with them is they seem to think that the rest of the world will just switch and tune into whatever the music they're playing. In order for anything to work in an African context, you have to look at legislation. You can't give me a cloud-based solution that stores my data in the US. You're going to get in trouble for that. So first of all, that breaks the chain. So now you have to look at something else. Secondly, the solutions that are provided internationally target the higher band of the market, where Africa is a very different situation, where most of the people cannot really afford the luxuries of tablets and smartphones and all those things. So in order to bring them on board, transacting and getting involved in day-to-day business, we have to meet their level.
And sometimes it's about affordability, as you mentioned. Personally, sometimes I go for the free apps as opposed to the $1, $2.99 apps. From an affordability perspective, we've seen the South African banking industry move towards the mobile space, giving banking applications, and these come in for free.
Yes.
Is that model more sustainable for South Africa and Africa as opposed to the paid-for platforms?
Well, it is a market that's attractive. I mean, everybody likes anything that's free. However, I think the solution needs to target somebody who is a sort of a provider or a sponsor, then allow that to encourage free apps to the rest of the people. Because otherwise, at the end of the day, your business model will be based on advertising, which may not be sufficient to meet your targets.
Let's take a quick step back at the corporate arena. When you are going to see CIOs, they've got so much information coming, you know, the cloud is being bantered about. When dealing with CIOs and making them understand the value of mobile platforms and applications for their tablets, for their smartphones, how do you integrate and make them understand that this is valuable to the organization, but at the same time safe and secure?
You have to take the conversation a couple of steps back. Remind the CIO that all he's dealing with here is it's a challenge of a new set of technology into an existing business set. So you need to make sure that he understands that you know that security is important to him and that you've got it under control. Secondly, you need to give him a picture that we have already solved this internally within our organization, which is just as large. So you don't have to worry, Mr. Customer. We know what we're doing.
So it's leading by example, basically.
Exactly.
Kgothatso, thank you very much.